This is Get Inspired with Dr. Barb. Hello, everyone. This is Barbara Vaquedes, host of Get Inspired with Dr. Barb, podcast on education, innovation in education. I also am a devoted advocate for neurodiversity and making sure that neurodiverse populations are served well in education. And if we do this job well, I think that we then have a chance to improve overall education. But today I have an amazing guest. The experiences that currently high school students have, and I can speak about United States because that's where I am, and also my own child is graduating from high school this week, and I just have very recent experiences as far as how education in high school is done, and there is not much that I can praise, unfortunately, how it's done, because I don't think we prepare a new generation of high school children, teenagers for what's to come. And I think what's to come is unknown. So I'm not going to claim what exactly is to come because nobody really knows. But how do we prepare these people for the unknown and for being resilient, for figuring out solutions to problems? I don't think current high school do this kind of preparation. Of course, there are some hubs, there are some experimental high schools where things are run in a different way. But our today's guest will tell us how this can be done totally differently. And he's got a lot of experience, not from the United States, but I know he collaborates with people from all over the world, including the United States. And I'm pretty sure that how we educate high school students is close to his heart, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, like why that's the case. A little bit about my guest. Shahar Matorin is an entrepreneur, community builder, and startup ecosystem leader who serves at the Israel Country as the Israel Country Manager for Startup Grind, the world's largest community for entrepreneurs and innovators. For more than a decade, he has been dedicated to connecting founders, investors, educators, and change makers while helping build thriving startup communities both in Israel and around the globe. He is also the founder of Startup Grind Education, an initiative focused on empowering the next generation of entrepreneurs and leaders through innovation, collaboration, and real-world learning experiences. His work is driven by a simple but powerful philosophy: make friends, help others, and create opportunities that allow people and communities to thrive. And in these environments, everybody basically can thrive. Welcome on my show today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are very welcome. And I would like to start. I think this introduction, what's in it is just so amazing because I don't think I've ever talked to someone like you who would have such an incredible experience with startups, with creating such innovative opportunities for young people, but also now thinking more about high school teenagers, what they can do with this. And I really want to learn myself more about it because this is, I think, an incredible opportunity for changing education to improve it. And again, like I said, I want to improve education for neurodiverse students. And this is also going to be connected with improving education for everybody, because I think that neurodivergent people probably, I don't know, based on your experience, I would like to ask you about it. I think they thrive in these kind of environments when they can create solutions, when they can use their own ideas, work with others, and use their strengths. I mean, we all have weaknesses and strengths, obviously. Use their sensitivities because their thinking is a little bit different, more intense in certain ways. I'm speaking as a mother of neurodivergent child. How do these people, these neurodivergent populations, how do they function in these innovative ways of learning and building, if I can ask you?
I think for them, in the startup world, sometimes the culture is different, and also when you have new technology or a new technology revolution, Some people that were born after, we call them native users, native players, native whatever. From the iPhone, when iPhone came, people that was born after iPhone, so they are native users of iPhone. So today, I think the young generation has huge opportunity to become native AI users, and the gap is going to be so big compared to their parents, their teachers, their principals, and they're also mayors in their community, in their city. So it's going to be big, and we need at least to open the right door for them so they will not stay in the box. While in the startup ecosystem, we always tell people to think out of the box. And now, when you have the toolbox and you have a much bigger toolbox, I think the opportunity for them is huge, and we need to be the door openers and not the educators. And we can, go back to the background and how it become, not just an idea, but as an understanding how important it is for kids, to give them the opportunity and to understand that it's not only this path. They can
Mhm.
choose, if they will not use the wrong path for bad things, they will think about good things they can do and they can learn. I think we have a huge opportunity in this generation, the young generation right now, that it's totally different than the Gen Z and the the past generations that we grew up to or experienced to. And I think the explanation is also the time between the revolutions. So now it's a very short time between any step. We had 20 years, to experience new things, to implement new technologies, or to be part of the new economy. But they don't have the same time frame to educate themselves and to learn. They are getting in, it's run super fast, and they just need their parents, their teachers, the the old generation to be near them and to be the enablers or to open the doors, but sometimes to forget that we are the educators.
That's just amazing because I hear in your voice, in your expression, that this initiative, what you're doing, which is a lot of difficult work, I can only imagine, right, from the perspective of a professor here, but what you're doing, any kind of innovation, it's just immensely, it's a difficult thing. It's super cool because you get a chance to see what's possible, and you discover these possibilities, and you do as you do this innovation, but it is very complex. But I know I can see how you connected with this, with the possibilities. It's all about opening the doors to possibilities for these young people who, let's face it, they went through the, let's say, for high school education, they haven't learned any of this. They have no clue how to even start to become entrepreneur. I mean, we hear about entrepreneurship. It's going to be like really something so super important. And to be honest, it's important for everybody because everybody, even professors now, like myself, like we have to be a little bit entrepreneurs, right? But we did, no, seriously, we didn't learn it anywhere. Nobody taught us. And now these young people are entering the new era. They are very young. They're 18 years old. They still not learning any of this. Maybe they learn how to budget something. I think my child told me about it a little bit, something about budgeting or something like that. And that was that, and the rest is, well, with history, math, that has really no application to real life. So they like, why am I learning this, right? There's no relevance. So that's how it's been rolling for decades, and it's still rolling. And now you've got this perspective that it's opening the door to these young people, but they're not getting it in high school. So, number one question I want to ask you, why are you doing what you're doing? What let you do this? Because I think this is very important. Why are you doing this? You could be doing something else.
I always go back. I always go back to my childhood. I really like technology and people and the mix of, like both. things made me part of the ecosystem, the high-tech ecosystem, the language of high-tech, the language of startup. It's a totally different language. And I really liked the technology, but I understood that to be in touch with people and not machine will help me to learn more from other people about their experience. And what I feel right now, many years later, that the specific ecosystem of entrepreneurs, it's a very interesting culture that people open to share their experience, their journey story. And we fortunately, have many successfully entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs that willing to share and not hiding at home. It's the best way to learn from mistakes, from or to get to know new things that happen outside of your, neighborhood or your office space or your class. And I was lucky enough to understand that to invest on people while technology running super fast instead of running after the new version of a software or a new version of, an hardware, is to talk more with people, but to stay in the same, I would say, group of people that are willing to be or to build their career in the high-tech sector, willing to be part of the innovation or the innovative group of people, puts me in the right position when I was young, and the startup language was totally different than what it's today, because many years ago we had to understand so many things from the basic to how we build things. And then any technology revolution helped us to remove so many things that we had to build, and now it's something that you open your light, so it's electricity, and now you use the website, it's in the cloud, so you don't need to understand how to build the machine or the computer or the servers. So for the young generation, I think today it's a classic time to do and to become an entrepreneur and to solve some problems and challenges and to think about others and other people challenges, and the opportunity is to become a builder, not just an entrepreneur or a founder, because a founder 10, 20 years ago had so many things to learn and to do and to experience and to fail. And kids, they can pass it and do it very early and to experience things super early right now. So I think it's a huge opportunity for them. So for me, I'm doing it for many years, so I felt, all the big waves of, the technology revolutions. And from 2015, I understood that something happening when we talked to Sam Altman. We interviewed him in Startup Grind. And I remember he said that when they will finish to teach computer our language, instead of us, the people running after the syntax of a software language, a big change will come to the young generation, because they will have an access to technology. They will have the access, but they don't have the network and the soft skills you guys have in the community. So if you will be a door opener and you will teach them from the success stories, they can brainstorm with other people and they can imagine what impossible or what possible for them. And today, possible is, I think, the best word to understand.
Amazing what I hear you saying, and I totally agree with this knowing how to combine how to combine opportunities that technologies bring, because there's so much stuff out there. Right. So we can imagine for the teacher to figure out, like, okay, what technologies do I use to make learning better? I mean, just this question alone is so overwhelming. But then we really have to think not just about, okay, what technologies, but there is more that we need to consider. Communication skills, how these young people work with each other, because there's so much learning during those collaborations. And then the next question should be then how technologies can enhance it, right? And you were sounds to me like this is your fascination, and one of them from your early stages of life, as long as you can remember. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that what's happened right now is the soft skills can help people find the like-minded people, because I think the most challenging was the most big challenge right now for kids, those who are curious about technology or willing to be part of the high-tech sector. And today we know that high-tech is the most interesting category. And tech and innovation, it's in so many categories, from agriculture to health and to other industrial revolutions that technology gets in. So I think the most challenging part is to find the right people to talk with or to get inspired from. And we have some examples from young kids that if you will see a 16 years old kid that sold his company and now he's 18 and he's earning $40 million every year.
I know. I don't know
It's
how.
it's changing the environment around him. It's the parents needs to understand how to support him. And he said the most challenging part was the like-minded people. In class, I couldn't talk to people, to my friends, about product market fit or about scaling this product or to find the first customers or what will be the business model for my idea. And the
Yeah.
first idea was, an app that you can take a photo of your meal and it will calculate the calories. So a super
Yeah.
simple, app. But if a kid comes with an idea, go to his room, develop the app, make sure the camera is connected and everything is connected, and now he want to charge $1 or $2 or $20, it's become a business. And he never learned about business, and nobody teach him at school. When he was 14, he started to develop it. Nobody talked to him how you can grow your business from an idea. And I think you don't need today to learn for 12 years and then to go to the academia and to spend more
Right.
years. So I think the academia going to be for researchers, not for people who can educate themselves in the industry, players. And we see what's happened with Google and Microsoft and all the big brands from the tech sector. They don't ask for a degree anymore. They are the tech schools. And
Yeah.
I think the labs in university is for people that are curious to understand what's happened and they want to research more. So I think we will see a bigger opportunity for teachers to educate more how you can improve your soft skills, how you can connect better with people. Maybe not only from your class. Maybe it will be better. And we saw in COVID that video became a very popular platform also for the education system. But I ask myself if we will challenge kids to find a group of 5 people that each one will be from different city
Mm-hmm.
and a mix of boys and girls, so we will not talk about it later on, when they will be 20, 25. A small challenge can make them at least trying to find people they can work together, they can solve problem together, they can test themselves better.
Mm-hmm.
But when we put a group of people in the same class, they are not the same, they don't have the same interests. Some of them go to sports, some of them go to
Yeah.
I don't know, the other things, biology, some of them interested in theater, I don't know. But if you will challenge people to talk to other people out of their class, to get friends through challenges, you will find yourself in a very interesting situation that people need to get, A plus, not just by answering the American test. They need they need to talk to people. They need to learn. Sometimes not only to find friends, but also to find someone who can inspire them and they can learn from his story. Send them out to do some things. And we see it in our community right now. What's
This
happening?
is amazing. I mean, you just touched on so many issues. I mean, yes, I mean, how colleges will change. This is also coming. These colleges probably know already to a certain extent, but they have no idea what's going to happen. How many programs will, unfortunately, fortunately, disappear, like you're saying too. But I've seen it as far as the high school issues. Majority of the students are kind of like, sports sort of concentrated on, and there's always a group of kids in the high school. They are kind of like different, you know what I mean? They have different interests. They kind of don't fit classic opportunities that the high school provides, and they could have these opportunities developed. Like my kid met some people online on the Instagram, a boy from Egypt who is also an artist. So they connected, they talk about it, what interests them. My kid did not find as many people who would be interested in similar things. I mean, yeah, sure, you connect with all kinds of people. They don't necessarily have to have the same interest, but you certainly know what I'm saying. It's not easy, but then technology, social media, if you know how to use it right, you can connect to some really cool people and share the same interest, talk about things, issues. And, I had to spend some time telling my kid, don't worry that someone who is interested in just playing sports doesn't find you so interesting. You're just a little different. You have different interests. You have to find people who support you, who will cherish you and value your interests, and get together with them in any way, it's possible. So I totally see what you're saying. But now to ask you a little bit about how this works, like let's say what you're doing for high school students, how does this work? Like, do you, let's say, if you do it in collaboration with, let's say, a high school in the United States, what do you do? I mean, first, obviously, there is some connection and talks about how you can collaborate. But when this happens, or another country, right? Once this happens, and there is a willingness, yeah, let's do it, Shahar, let's do it. Let's get our high school students into the startups, into entrepreneurships, into solving problems, building things together. Come on, right? Let's do it. So then what happens? How you do it? How you start, and what these high school students then have an opportunity to actually experience, and how. So that's a lot in this question, but we need to know that.
We'll try to split my answer and tell it as a story from the moment I had an opportunity to get an introduction with a new friend from Silicon Valley back then in 2013. His name is Derek Anderson, and he was in his own garage, like all the great stories from Silicon Valley. It's
Yeah.
all started in a garage, and he shared with me his vision. And I remember I asked him if he willing to do it as a long-term or lifelong mission, and not just a project for a short term. And I remember the day that I said, okay, let me join. Let's bring my city. And I started to represent my city, Tel Aviv, from Israel, and he was in Silicon Valley. But his vision, mission, and values together puts us together on a lifelong mission. And he said, we are sitting in a tech hubs that many stories started here in our neighborhood. And we want to democratize and to provide more opportunities to other people that are not around, they are not here, and we need to find a format for doing it. So the first mission was to educate, to inspire, and to connect any entrepreneur worldwide. But we were in the garage or at home, but we thought about many people that we still don't know, but we think that the stories of the successful founders and investors from our tech hubs will inspire them to do not only much more than what they are doing right now, sometimes it's to create it from scratch, because in their countries there is nothing, or in their cities there is nothing compared to Silicon Valley right now. But with an inspiration, we can at least educate them and inspire them to do something. And it started very small, and those were, the missions. And the set of values that Derek came with was, let's give first. Let's become givers. When you are part of a group, of a new group, don't push what you want to tell us, what you want to sell. Don't pitch us your ideas. Bring yourself. Try to explain who you are, what you can provide us as a group, and it's a great opening for discussion. Any kind of discussion. If I will ask you, how can I help you? I'm sure that you will share with me at least one thing that I can do for you. And of course, after this session, this talk. So this was the first value. So it was give first, don't take when you are part of this group. And the second value was make friends, not contacts. Today, you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, but who care? Who care about your 10,000 followers? So
Right.
you're part of a group, and you know David, and you know Jen, and you know those people a little bit more about them, their families, their status, their dreams, their needs and challenges. Then you can communicate better, because you have at least, some topics to talk about when you know better the person. And the third value was help others before yourself. And this is the magic that happens after those meetings. Because if you meet a group of people and then you sit at home together, you invite them, you sit in a restaurant together, you talk about something that was important for you to share, sometimes it can change the other person's life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a very small thing, like in a contract for adults, or to educate, or to show you something that you wanted to learn about, but now I can show you the tips and tricks how to do it faster or easier, or maybe to do it for free and not to pay for. I can save you money, I can save you time, I can help you. And sometimes you will remember those meetings after the community meetings as a life-changing events. And those values helped me to understand that, okay, we have tech, we have entrepreneurs, we have investors, it's an ecosystem. But the most important part is to help others, to listen, to give, and to become friends. And then you create a safety zone for yourself, and comfortable zone to share your needs and challenges. So it was the beginning of the startup grind community, the adult startup community that became now the leading startup community in more than 100 countries and 300 cities, and more than 5 members, entrepreneurs that
It's
enjoy the
crazy.
content.
Congratulations, I have to say.
Thank you very much. But
Yeah, yeah, well,
you asked about the kids and the schools, and what I shared with you earlier about the idea that Sam Altman went into the lab to develop an AI tool, because AI is something that researchers are working for more than 20 years. But when someone is focusing on creating a product that me and you can use, and not just professors for neuroscience, it was a moment in life that we understood that computer understand us, and we don't need to understand computer. So
I love this.
it's a totally moment in life that you can say, okay, so I don't need to be a coder, a developer. When I have an idea, I can become a builder. So the opportunity is much bigger right now for kids. And because it's available for you on your mobile, it's available for you on your PC, you don't need any new excuses why not to go to school, why not to go to any Ivy League in university. it's good to be part of the education system, but to get more experience in the soft skills, in the network, to learn from people about things that you will not ask the chat or you will not ask any other friends from your community. So what I decided to do in parallel of the education system is to build the community infrastructure as a critical infrastructure for the next tech leaders. It's a group of people that can represent their cities in the world leading startup community as a trigger. So if a 15 years old girl putting a t-shirt of a brand, of a community, and she's going to the mayor of the city and she's
Yeah.
knock the door and tell him, I represent our city in the world leading startup community, and we just need a space to meet. And my mission is to find people at home from different schools, not only from her class. To find those like-minded people, put them together and meet at least once a month. This is the minimum KPI. So it's a mission to find a place, to bring food and drinks, and we give them another mission is to find an interesting entrepreneur or an investor and to invite them to share their journey story, where they were born, what they did, why they choose this direction in life, some mistakes they made they will never forget, and some tips about how they look, what the future look like from their point of view, and also how to connect with them. And this is how you build relationship with some top people that you can reach out from your city. It can be online on screen right now if you can bring them, from other countries. And it's very important also to learn from those interviews and from, we call it fireside chat. It needs to feel comfortable to share stories and journey story. It's more about learning the language of startups, the language of technology. It's not to teach them English. It's to teach them the language and the not only the buzzwords, but the keywords they will search after, or the influencers they will follow later after those meetings. Because if you will start getting your feed stories that can inspire you, stories that can help you to understand what's new, what's available for you, what's open now for your use, it's better than to scroll down and swap between posts that you get nothing out of them. I don't want to talk about the bad things that you're bringing to your eyes and brain, but if you will start learning the language, you will follow people, different people, you will become part of a group of people that you willing to spend time with or to share your needs and challenges as an infrastructure to build it for each city in parallel of the education system. It can be, out of the education system hours, the teaching hours. I think we will build at least a level of community leaders. And leadership is part of what you can do for your economy, your friends. And I decided that if we will start early in the AI era, they already have access to the technology. At least we will help them to cross the road without the same accidents that people did before. So I think we can use the community that we already built as an infrastructure, the format, the KPIs, the challenges, what we can bring inside to engage more with those kids, and it can become a very big movement, and not only locally in the country, but then we can do like we did in Startup Grind in different countries, and then they can start communicate, not just to find friends. They already part of something. We call it community, but they are part of similar, they have similar interests, they have similar ideas, they have the same language right now. They feel part of something that is bigger than a class. And they can find themselves in different groups, to be involved in different challenges, to solve different problems together, not only to compete like any innovative or startup program that we know. We have at school, we have classes, we have lessons, we have courses, we have programs, and we have programs that someone win, like competitions or so. It's always a small group of people that win and get, the lights for a couple of moments, but others, we forgot them. But in community, if you work together, if you share knowledge, if you learn from successful entrepreneurs' journey story, it's better than to learn from a teacher the same lessons again and again every year, and you find yourself, after school hours, know nothing about what's happening in Silicon Valley, know nothing about what's happening in Dubai right now or in Japan. But I think the high-tech sector is more global, it's more open. And cultures are many cultures are involved. You can see Silicon Valley, it's not only for Americans. I think less American than Indians or other people that comes to US and innovate and feel comfortable to innovate. Why? What's going there? What's going on there?
I just want to make sure that I understand the way I imagine this, based on your description now, is let's say if you work with a high school classroom, one teacher just kind of like let's try it, right? Let's do a pilot, right? Because these things usually are started at a small scale. Let's see how it works. We don't know. Let's try it, small pilot. And let's say the teacher would kind of like identify a group of kids who have like common interests. They would like to do something together. They are and maybe they even know some kids online that they met who share the same interests from a different school, right? Maybe even from a different country. And then the goal is to kind of like, and they would like to learn about entrepreneurship. They would like to do something, create something, and learn how you find sponsors for something you would like to create. And then you, might be not necessarily you, but people who work with you, right, in the startup, the education sector, let's say, would provide I think some guidance in like how you figure out, helping them a little bit, how you figure out what you want to do and why, because the goal is to do something for someone, maybe something for the community. And I absolutely love this goal. Service. I'm not just here for myself. We want to create something for someone or a group of people that could benefit them. And then you kind of guide them, and also with the help of the teacher, like how you do these things a little bit, and how you go out and try to find an investor, maybe from your own community. And so they have to do these things themselves. It's just with your help and guidance. Is it how am I imagining it? Is that right or not?
Yes, it's interesting. When we start building the startup grind community,
Yeah.
we've got nothing, just the idea, a name,
Yeah.
a logo, and as I said, a mission and values. But we put the basic format for people is the minimum requirements was to meet every month, at least every month. So when you need to organize a meeting, not just with one friend, for example, with 100 friends, the challenge is first to find the people. And
Yeah.
second, you need a space to host this event. So it's a one challenge that you need to somehow solve. You need to prepare an interview, so you need to find an inspiring person that relevant to this specific community. If it's a community of entrepreneurs, you need to bring a founder of successful company to find them, to communicate with them. But
Mm-hmm.
this is the second challenge that you need
Yes.
to solve. And the third challenge is to provide them, at least a screen to show them what you are going to talk about, who you are going to host this evening. You need a good microphone,
Yeah.
You need at least a mobile phone that can record this session, because if you have 100 people in the room, you still want to upload this session so other people can educate themselves from this talk. And then you find new friends that can join the group if they are close, and if not, people that can inspired by the talk that you hosted. So if you will start to understand right now, I'm giving a group of people an opportunity to represent their city in the world leading startup community. This is the largest door that you can open a kid. You just need to tell them that you give them an opportunity. Now let's turn the opportunity to a mission. Okay, this opportunity is great. The basic things you need to do is to host monthly events, to find kids, to find someone to interview, to
Yeah.
record it, share it. And now, if you want to do it every month, maybe you need to find a local business that will give you some pizzas.
Yeah.
And maybe, so you don't need to be shy. You need to go to a pizza
Yeah.
brand
Yeah.
near the venue, and to tell them that every month you just need 10 pizzas for your events, and you will promote their brands in your
Exactly.
events. You will give your members a 10 off coupon to buy after. Okay? So you create a deal, you become a deal maker,
Mhm.
right? So you experience why, because you need every month to provide pizza, and then you need drinks, so you can go to bring fresh juice from a neighbor or from a business, and you will ask for you know 15 or 100 cups of orange juice. Okay,
Yeah.
you need to do it every month. So then you become professional of growing a local community. Then people recognize you as a leader, because successfully hosting month by month events for people that willing to be together, learning together, and also sharing with their friends. So a friends bring friends
Yeah.
uh, marketing tool. It's the best way to create a local community and brand. What's happened after you find another group of people and group of leaders from different city? So if you will think about the layers that we are building in the community, we have the basic layer is our members, those who have the same interest, the like-minded people. On top of this layer, you have those group of kids that accept the challenge and got the opportunity to represent their city. So they are the community leaders. On top of this layer, by the way, they become a family, because the education part, the training for community leaders, we are not doing it for all the members. We are doing it for small groups, so you feel like, hey, I'm the chosen.
That's awesome. I
I
love
feel
it.
like I'm part of something that I will be interested to spend time together with this group, because we are leaders. We are leading our cities. So it's become a group of people that communicate together, train themselves together, and we have tons of things to train them based on our past experience. So we want to pay it forward by, at least give them the same opportunity that we've got, and we build tons of startups out of this, incredible experience. So the layer on top of it is their speakers and their companies. If I host a successful entrepreneur, he shared with me what company he built, what was super excited moments in his journey with this community. I did a pre-interview session. I'm using a WhatsApp or iMessage right now to communicate with this person. So it's become a personal relationship. So between me, the community, and the speaker, I became a trustee layer that know how to filter those who are willing to talk to him, because he's my new connection. And I'm only 14 and he is a successful entrepreneur. What will happen when I will reach out in a year or two and I will share that I have a new project that I'm involved in, or I have an idea that I want 15 minutes or an hour from your time just to be my mentor. It's an opportunity. So this layer is super important for education, for inspiration, for the future, relationship that you can build very early on. And the fourth layer for us was the sponsors and the partners. Those who are involved in this community from the different point of view, like we support you, we want to help you. So we never took money and logo from a sponsor only. We always ask them to do some homework and to think how to build a win-win-win deal with the community. So you will provide me some budget for the operation. I will share your brand story, but think about a valuable assets like a benefit, like a discount, like something like an activity that you can provide our members. So me as a community manager will get the power of serving my community by providing them values and benefits and discounts. It can be a cinema that will support this local community and will give us 10% off for the cinema tickets. So if I will provide you as a member a 10% discount, you will see me as a leader that provides you some values. And I can take it, to who were our sponsors in the beginning and what was the relationship, but we did amazing things together. And one very important example that I'm willing to share, it's not only money and logo and benefits, it's also projects that we can do together with big companies or brands or municipality or high school. So one example was to create new hashtag for our community to share. And 1 month in a year, we need to put women on stage. We cannot put men on stage. So the challenge was to find woman, inspirational woman entrepreneur from your region, from your city, and to bring her and give her a stage to share her journey story. What's happened from this moment with the sponsor, we hosted 200 events in the same month. So to provide 200 inspirational stories to our community in 1 month, it was a huge success. And from 2014, we are doing it till today. So every year we have the Woman Month. So it's become also a very important, I would say, project that inspired women to join the community. So we can talk and think about so many projects that we can do together as a community, but we can never do as a school, because classes will never challenge themselves together with other classes in different cities on a long-term mission. Let's do it every month, let's do it every year. It's very difficult to do it if you don't have at least the infrastructure.
So I hear you. It's not like a teacher would be interested in doing this and saying like, well, but I have to involve my whole classroom, my whole class. That might not work because you have to have a group of these sort of like driven young individuals. We want to do it together, and that's what we are interested in doing. Because if you don't have this drive and investment in the value of what you're thinking about trying to do, it's just, again, putting the whole class together, it's just not going to work. So, but I also wanted to ask you, but these young people also, I mean, they learn so much by preparation for this project. There are so many stages. You just described all that, but the value of this learning is absolutely tremendous. They basically learning to run like their first business, right? But when do you come into play, the startup? Like, how do they learn about some intricacies of some nuances of what's okay to do when you ask people to join you, what's not okay? It's just they need to learn some language, some maneuvers, some ways of interacting with people, right? They don't know that yet. So how do they learn that? From whom?
Again, I will split my answer to two because we have the
Okay.
experience of startup grind and we have the idea or the building process and provide the same opportunity for high school students. In startup grind, we hosted events in Silicon Valley, in Tel Aviv, in London, in Cape Town, in big cities, big hubs in the beginning. But when we started to share our opportunity for you to represent your city, and we've got some applications from Africa, from different countries and different cities that they don't have the same ecosystem. So they build it from scratch. So if we succeeded with adults, they they have nothing before startup grind as a bridge to Silicon Valley, as a bridge to Tel Aviv. And they successfully hosting events till today with hundreds of people in or tens of people in each event. The kids can do it better than us. Okay, if you have your day job, if you have a family, you don't have enough time. But when you are a kid with access to AI and you have the knowledge, the intelligence is commodity right now, and you just need to build, you just need to do something for people that you love to be with. So I think the opportunity now is not how to give them the education. We will train them. The basic training part is to explain what is the startup grind. I would say story, mission, values. We need to feel those people, they are connected to those values, they willing to lead, and they are not shy to be in front of people or to knock the teacher door or the principal door. Going to help them to do the first step in any task. We need to guide them, or at least to push a little bit and to give them the chance to fail. And I think fail in startups is part of the journey, as it's not a blocker.
Right.
It's part of the in startup journey. You always said that failure is a lesson. It's not a door that was closed for you. It's a much bigger door that opened for you for the next time. So I think we want to see them fail. We want to see them succeed. We want to award them. So we have an award ceremony. So we will give them several awards for what they are doing. If they brought the most people, that like-minded people to their community, if they successfully brought more than one sponsor or partner, if they hosted 12 events, also if there was a vacation from school, or if they have break from school but they hosted events, the meaning that those people found themselves as a group of people that willing to meet. And one big thing that we want to give them as an opportunity is to host or to give them an opportunity to be part of a delegation to the global startup grind conference in Silicon Valley every year. So if a country, a government, or a local government will budget 20 kids to join a group of people from startup grind education to see what's happened in the startup grind conference in Silicon Valley, this will be a candy shop for them to be, 2 days with the
Yeah.
top entrepreneurs, to
Yeah.
be in the theater, to listen to 100 speakers, top founders and investors, to go outside and to talk with the sponsors. Those are the top brands in the tech sector, and also to eat lunch and to go to Starbucks and to sit with someone that he was the inventor of a flying car,
I know,
or
right?
some. It will inspire them. They will get the
Yes.
energy needed at least for a year to host more events and to find more people. And I think the most challenging part in any country today, also in the US, is to bring more people to be involved in the tech sector. In any category, by the way, not only in the specific software sector or cybersecurity. It can be in agriculture, it can be in energy, it can be robotics. Today, the mix of software and hardware, going back to school, physics. You need to learn more physics if you're willing to be an entrepreneur that playing with hardware, with robots. You need physics. So I think it's going to be a mix of community activity that will challenge you, will provide you a comfortable space to share your needs and challenges and dreams with like-minded people. Go back to class, learn more mathematics, language, experience your English better, and learn about physics and biology, learn about financial, the financial parts of your journey needs also to be more clear when you are young. And I think also the soft skills, the communication, how to talk, not how to present. I know that in the US you teach young kids to present their ideas, to present, but how to talk to people, how to open discussion with people, how to do the networking parts and jump after 5 minutes from one group to different group and not stuck with one friend for all year. It's a very important, I think, opportunity to do it in schools. Maybe not only inside the class, but also to do it with other teachers as an opportunity for them in the same age to talk with other people from different classes as a mission. So you have a challenge to solve to next week. You need to talk with 5 people from different classes, group together and come with an answer. If it's on physics, if it's on math, if it's something else. And I think community doing it by nature and classes not.
It's, it's all about allowing these kids getting out of the comfort zone, and also about them understanding that this is not the time to be afraid. Am I going to be successful? Is it going to work or not? Because the value of failure, again, we teach a totally different meaning of failure in school still. I see this as an amazing opportunity for any high school, because any high school in at least United States has something like that, like like after school clubs or something like that. So you can get kids who are interested in this. They don't have to be a part of English class or whatever, or another class. Or there are electives, like kids take elective, and elective can be on this, doing a startup, teaching, learning basics of entrepreneurship, whatever you call it, right? It could come up with a fancier name than that.
But not as a program.
What did you say?
Not as a program, not as a course.
Not as a course, Darley. Yeah. Why not as a course?
Because when you go to learn how to become an entrepreneur, I think entrepreneur is a skill. It's not. It's something. Right. It's a muscle. Okay. It's something in your brain that you need to wake up at 6 a.m. to do something. I don't think that a school student is wake up so early and say, hey, it's super fun. I'm going to do so many new things today. We know what's happening at home right now. So what I think it should be an activity. It should be something you're willing to be part of. It's not a course that you need to go from A to Z and then you think, create, check. It's something you need to do every day, every month, every week. It's depend. I shared with you that we had the minimum requirements of meeting at least 1 month, but I can share with you that in Beijing, in China, the startup grind director that became the community leader there, he came from Germany to China as an employee for a corporate, but he wanted to create, the ecosystem there, and he thought that startup grind can become, a very good opportunity to bring from Silicon Valley to Beijing. And he built a factory of volunteers, and he moved from 1 monthly events to a weekly events with 200 to 300 people. So he took the bars and the restaurants and the universities, the big space in university to host those events. It's become, a community of people that willing to meet every week.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is amazing. So, the after school club, there's all kinds of clubs after school, but like I said, mostly it's traditionally kind of clubs devoted or after school activities devoted to, well, sports or something else. Why cannot it be to entrepreneurship? I mean, that's where seriously every high school student should start learning about. And I think that what's really important for these young people is to have as many experiences, all kinds of internships, so you see what you like to do in life. How are you going to know what you like? By if you don't try any of these things,
It's
right? So the more
interesting.
you can try.
It's interesting. The world internship is also like a free experience. Okay?
Yeah, yeah,
I can share with you that one kid from our community, it's a pilot, we are in a building process right now. It's not in a scalable, stage. He asked me for a couple of minutes of my time to read his CV. He wrote the first CV. He's in high
yeah,
school, but he wrote his CV for the summer, the summertime. He wanted to try and touch the startup
yeah.
world. And I asked him, listen, now you're part of the Startup Guy in Education and you know me and you know that I'm an ecosystem leader in the startup ecosystem. So I know several startups. So instead of writing a CV and running to meetings, interviews, just tell me that you want to work in a startup. It was on Thursday. On Sunday in Israel, we work from Sunday to Friday. So on Sunday, he came to visit me. I drove to Tel Aviv to a startup. I introduced him to the founder, and I asked the founder to pay him a salary as an employee and to talk to me a week later to tell me if it was a good decision to make this introduction. He called me 3 days later, the founder, and he said, Shahar, he's a magician. What this guy did in our company in only 3 days, I pay tons of salaries to my team. They are working for months, and he did in 3 days what those guys cannot do right now.
It's crazy because it's about seeing what people can do, personal communication, all the things that you were talking about. Like you can write the most impressive CV, but it's not going to really show what kind of person you are and what you can do, really. That's the problem that we have in this world, too. Also, how we recruit people for jobs. I can totally see it. I mean, internships, there's problems with internships, too, in the United States, but my daughter had internship recently that was a fabulous experience because she was lucky to have a great team of people who supported her. She learned a lot and she absolutely loved it. But I would like for my child to have even more experiences and to try to be a little bit more independent, but working with a group to do something more, to come out of this shell of high school even more. And unfortunately, but we can all unlearn it. It just takes some time and experiences.
Remember the word native users or native members. When I opened the door for this kid to get into a startup, the adults, the developers, are in their learning curve of the AI.
Yeah,
They are
right,
learning.
right.
This kid, he, with his computer at home, developing programs and projects with AI from the first day. For 3 years, he was 13, right? Now he's 16 or 17. What he can do in 1 hour or in a day, they still needs to watch YouTube videos, they need to take courses, they need to understand the differences between what they are developing right now and in which platform and what are the new tools. It takes time. But for those kids to be involved with adults, to understand, how to wake up in the morning, how to get out of your bed, to go into the office, to sit in front of people that are adults, right? They are not your friends from school, and you need to somehow communicate with them. It's For me, it was super excited moment to hear these kids a week later when he said, Shahar, I don't know how to thank you. But what's happened here? And now they bought him a new Mac, laptop.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He worked for them, just a couple of weeks, and he's getting new computer. He will take with him. It's like, part of their excitement of what he can do. So I think we have huge opportunity, and I will differentiate also the word entrepreneur from tech entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship sometimes it's also to open a coffee shop. You also need some entrepreneurship skills, but tech entrepreneurship, it's a little bit different because, as I said, the tech sector, the startup ecosystem in a global level right now, not only in Silicon Valley, it's a little bit different. The people, the culture, the language, the way of thinking, the way of doing, and the speed of doing, and the world it's different in those entrepreneurship journey. If you fail by opening restaurants, it's a different story when you fail by opening a tech startup. The people,
Yeah.
the investors, the group of people that involve, the mentors, everything is different. So I think for us to be a group of people, we call ourselves a startup community, not entrepreneurship community or entrepreneurs community. The startup community is a group of people that willing to be part of the startup world.
Right.
And this what connect us together. And I think for kids, startup grind education can be a great door, not only to become leaders or startup founders or builders, also to communicate better with the people, to find a topic, to talk about, to learn more how to give first, and then open those discussions with how can I help you, because each one of them that sits at home, in his room with his laptop doing something sometimes beautifully. It can be game development, it can be app development. If you will put this group together and then you ask me how I do it or what I want to do it with them, is also to challenge them together with the government, with the municipalities, with social organizations, sometimes challenges that can come from corporates. I don't know if you're familiar with the challenges that Elon Musk is providing, the ecosystem every couple of years or months. He has an idea, he put it as a challenge. Many
Yeah.
countries or groups are, willing to solve this challenge and to earn, couple of millions or sometimes hundreds of millions. He know how to motivate people to work together by challenge them in some crazy things that you think nobody can solve.
Totally.
And
And that's why,
also about those things,
yeah,
I have tons of stories,
that's why he is what
from
he
our
is.
experience.
Shahar, can you give us two examples? You have probably thousands of examples, but two examples of some cool or unusual projects that those startups did. But I'm more interested in younger people doing this. So at the high school level, like two of them. What have they? I don't know. Invented, did something for the community, just something that you think was really cool.
So I think for the first example is to share with them that we want to train community leaders. And I shared with them the challenge to create a platform that we can train people and to organize those groups and to give them, the awards after and sometimes the certificate and we want them to feel that they got the certificate. So I'm a community leader. And I remember that they didn't tell me, and they came back with a prototype of this software. Why I wanted to search for a platform outside, and to communicate and to close a deal or to license a platform. And they came back and they said, Shahar, don't worry, we will develop the platform for the community. And I remember the moment I said yes, and I told them, my time, my calendar is available for you. So if you need to ask question, if you don't have the right, path or the flow of what I imagine or what I need for the training, feel free to send me a message. And they asked me where to send the message. And I told them, okay, it's the right moment to build a messaging platform for our community. So again, they went back home, they grouped together a couple of people, they put their hands up in one group call, and they said, we are going to build the communication server for the community, and we talk about cities and to bring government inside and municipalities inside and members inside. And they build it on Discord platform. And I remember that Discord is very easy to install, but very difficult to set, all the settings there.
Yeah, I don't use it because it was too much.
And they build an amazing server for the startup grind community in a week. And they start to communicate. And I thought, okay, they are building the infrastructure. So instead of me coming with my platform and think what kind of platform we can implement, they did it for themselves. But one example that I will share with you some links later for a video, not only for the kids, but how communities can solve problems and challenges. Elon Musk, I don't know if you're familiar with his idea of Hyperloop.
Maybe not so much this one.
Okay, Hyperloop was a pipe that you can put people inside in a capsule, and it can go from Las Vegas to LA in 30 minutes. Okay? So the idea was, a pipe like a gas pipe or like something like that, empty, and you put a capsule and you throw people very fast to the other side. So it was a vision.
Yeah.
And he started to build a pipe, but the machine that needs to go through the capsule needs, great technology, magnets and to be somehow electric or to go from point A to point B super fast. And he challenged the world, okay, who will build the prototype of this capsule? Many countries joined this challenge and invested millions or tens of millions with teams. But one community leaders, they had an operational skills. They went to Slack. I don't know if you're familiar with Slack platform. So Slack is a messaging platform for the tech sector. They are using it inside the startups, inside the corporates to message each other, and they have several different channels to communicate on different topics. He went to Slack teams and asked for a sponsorship account. Just one account. I want a sponsorship to communicate with people. And he told engineers from a community, he asked engineers that are working full-time for Apple, full-time for Samsung in different countries. He asked them about joining him for this challenge in their spare time, but they need to share what they can provide the team. Successfully brought 1,700 engineers.
Wow.
Work together in one account, Slack account. They communicate. One can do the 3D picture. One know how to connect electric parts. One knows something about mechanics. One knows something about physics. They connected together. They won the challenge with zero budget.
That's crazy, right? That's how you do it.
I will share with you later a short video
That's amazing.
about the connection between a sponsor a community of crazy people that willing to solve this challenge, and they willing to share their spare time with each other for a mission. So it's a story that inspired me for many years. And I can tell you that if I will provide a group of kids from my country, but the challenge will be to group together, but one kid from each city. And I'm asking for 30 people to join this challenge, and the winning team will get a prize from the government. Something, I don't know. We can
Yeah.
think about it. They will join the delegation to the global conference in Silicon Valley. It can be a dream come true
Yeah.
for them. Okay? The challenge is to find the 30 people. The challenge is to communicate with people from different cities. But now it's not only to chat with people inside the game. They have a mission to solve together. So they have a bigger mission to solve. And I think the education system missed this opportunity because a teacher go to a class and you need to teach something every day, and you need to go to test to the exams, and you need to give degrees. So the system is broken when you want to run fast because the education system is for 12 years.
Yeah.
The startup ecosystem is for one day. You can build a startup in one day today. So if you need to learn 12 years, but a startup you build in one day, there is no alignment right now. And this is something at least we need to give them the opportunity to open the door and to provide them the education they need while they will have a challenge to solve, like a physics challenge. They need to learn from history, but the teacher needs to at least to educate them how to communicate, how to communicate with others, how to become curious about new things, how to come with some needs and challenges and share with the class, not just to present how they answer those questions. Maybe to ask questions, not only to answer questions of their teachers.
Of course. And understanding that even the teacher does not have the answers. And that is actually why, if you think of analogy of Elon Musk being a teacher, I mean, he's done so many things, not because he had answers. A lot of times he didn't. He just was willing to try. And we know that sometimes those trials failed, and actually even in many cases, but that's how you do it. But that's what we're not teaching, and that's what we should be teaching. And your initiative, and something you've been doing for so many years really already, and with so many people, and now young people too, I see that this can really change a lot for these high school students, but also teachers. And it's not asking to take any even time out of their high school schedule, because like you said, it shouldn't really be a part of a strict course. But why not to create a little club that can be different, not another sports club, which is very important too, but something different like this. Now, at the end of our chat, because it eventually has to come to the end, even though all the things you are telling me about in our audience are just so fascinating. If somebody was would be interested in partnering with you, what is it? What are some important pieces of information, maybe some of it at least you could tell us, that they have to qualify? Like what qualifies a high school administration or high school teacher, or high school to be able to work with you? Like what are some basic things that they would have to have or work on, if you could share that.
We have the adults part of a non-profit organization like Startup Brand Education. The reason I'm doing it as a non-profit is also to keep it clean from the business interest and also open the door for donors from different type of people. Sometimes it's the parents, sometimes it's a social organization that's willing to see some impactful movements and inspired people. So when you ask about teachers how to be involved, first we are in the building process. So any organization or municipality or a city that willing to be part of the pilot or to be first, it's all about a small budget for the operational side, the branding and the marketing, because we need to do the messaging part very clear. It's not part of the class time, so we need to understand that this teacher or this principal willing to spend more time by providing value and not just to see his mission to go to the class or to the school for a couple of hours and to think about the salary, but also about the impact. Maybe we can reward, teachers that will be involved. We don't need teacher to teach the kids. We need teachers to be involved in the community just to provide them what they need, if they need, but not to give them the solution. But if the door is locked and they need to find the key because it's in the principal room, it's very easy to give them. If someone want to share a challenge that we're willing to share with an adult, it's very important that we will be there for them and not to teach them, because we are giving them an opportunity to lead. So we need to be there. So in each school, we need at least one teacher to become part of the community from the teachers level. We will create a group of teachers that can share what's happening in their communities. And then if they can provide any help for these kids, ask questions, how can I help you? We need a new projector because the old projector in school is not good enough for Elon Musk that is coming next week.
That's a good problem to solve.
Yeah. So maybe if we can organize things that we can help them, at least in the beginning, it's very good. And because it's in school, we need someone that is in a teacher level, at least in a teacher level, as a responsible guide, for them. Not to give them a free, I would say a free building process without to know that adults are with them, at least with them or near them in the process. So in my case right now, I'm doing it in Israel. We're willing to duplicate the success here and then to open it for other countries. But if someone will come and say, we have the budget is not a problem, but we're willing to join and to learn, it's open to any city right now.
So for now, as far as the high school and doing this entrepreneurship / startup, for now you're doing this within your country, correct?
Just because it's close to me, so I
It's
can be
close. That's what you
available
started.
and I can train
Yeah.
and we will build an HQ team that can handle relationships with other countries because of the time difference, because some different challenges. And sometimes, Israel is a good example, but it's a small country, so cities are close to each other. But if
Right.
you think about the US, between schools can be an hour drive or 2 hours. So if you talk about 16 years old kids that needs to meet physically, in a room, sometimes it can be more challenging, and we don't want to do startup brand education only on video in big countries. We need to think, how can we make these things happen in big cities or sometimes in small cities in the US.
Yeah, and how to be able to pilot something like that, right, beyond Israel. So let's say United States, that's far away, but how to do it, how to start it. So that is something, that's a project for you to figure out for sure. Yeah, but I can see that a willing, school administrator who would be interested in doing something like that, innovative and trying, why not, right? Because you always, even if it doesn't work very well, you learn from it. But it's just,
We have also
yeah,
the idea how to do it. I'm not going to duplicate myself, but I'm going to train a level of country managers like we did in Startup Grind, and
Hmm.
this country manager will have all the knowledge and the format to open it in his region. So in big countries like the States, we can
Right. Somebody
separate
would
it
be
to,
here. Somebody would be here.
yeah.
Not you, because you can't be everywhere, but someone trained, someone who's already from the community. But
This will be the
yes,
first mission, is to find
yeah,
someone, if
yeah,
it's in
totally.
Washington, if it's in, you know, the west
Mm-hmm. New
side, the
York,
east side, the
whatever. Yeah.
center. Yeah.
Well,
I'm willing to find those people that not only crazy, but also, you know, mission and mission driven.
they want to do something different.
Yeah.
They want to help.
The impact is going to be huge, because if you will
Yeah.
compare the budget of education system to the budget of this community, the budget will be super small compare and super effective, and the impact is going to be huge, because if you will think about a 15 years old boy or girls that building a company and taking an office in their cities and starting to hire friends and build a team, it's going to change so many small economies in the US that are not Silicon Valley,
Yes. And
by
the
by
first,
following them, by
yeah,
inspired by them, by opening more businesses while you are young, because you are not afraid to fail. And it's okay. We
exactly.
will support them.
Yeah, but you need that trial. You need that something to start with to throw yourself out there. And if you don't have this opportunity, you don't know about it, you're just not going to start it. You will prolong the time by which you actually start your first business, because eventually that's what's going to happen. Many people will start businesses, but they will not have this trial period. That would be really nice to have. But just doing it where you are stationed and already being successful means that it can be done virtually everywhere else. Of course, considering constraints and different community needs and resources, whatever else, but it can be done one way or another. It's what I'm saying. Everybody who's like, well, but you do, you therapy dogs, but here we can't have dogs. I'm like, listen, you can do these activities with other therapy animals. It doesn't have to be dogs. Anything that I do with my therapy dog can be done with therapy cat, with therapy, guinea pig, like whatever, almost everything animal is allowed. So you can apply that. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So let's see what we can do. Maybe we can find someone crazy in the United States. I know some crazy administrators. So let's see what happens. But at the end of our discussion, it was just so fascinating. Shahar, if you could tell everybody where they can follow you on social media, where you can be followed and connected with. Yeah.
The tech sector, I will say the tech sector profiles is on LinkedIn network. I saw today that more than 20,000 people following my profile. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm very happy to see more and more people join. But we are in a very difficult time here in the last couple of years in the Middle East, the
Right.
conflict in the Middle East.
Right.
So it's not the same speed of building right now because of the war, but I hope that we will speed up, and we will think about different rewards for the kids compared to the adults, because if you will see what China is doing right now,
Oh
they
my
are
gosh.
they are letting you as a builder, as a solo entrepreneurs, they provide you an apartment, money like $750,000 a year if you will build a $1 billion company alone. And
Mm.
I'm not a big believer of the solo entrepreneurship, opportunity right now. I think people should be more together as
Yeah.
groups, and learn
Yeah.
how to work together, how to spend time together.
Hmm.
But I think if we will find cities that willing to provide opportunity for young kids, sometimes is to provide space in the city that if a kid will come with an idea
Yeah.
and he willing to open a company or to experience the walking out of his room, this space can be for 10 companies, 15 companies, small offices. If
Yeah.
15 people will do different projects in this space, they will talk together while they will eat lunch. They will talk together about challenges and needs. They will replace some, information. And I think we can reward them differently than just provide them money, because they are still living at home and they don't need, to manage a family.
Right.
So they just need to look at it as an experience. And by the way, sometimes it's not just you to become an entrepreneur, it's also to join. To join a visionary guy because you are a great designer or you have a
Right.
space to lead.
You build in your network. You might not be ever entrepreneur after this experience, but you might use these skills, because none of the skills you gain are lost. I always thought, why did I go to this job? Lost time. Wait a minute, it's not really lost. Actually, using some of these skills, even if it's just not to get into this experience anymore, you know what I'm saying? Everything is a learning experience, and that's what they need to learn too. And these opportunities provide these learning experiences.
But
And
when
yes,
you ask where to follow, just
yep,
to summarize, to follow my profile, the best is on LinkedIn, but I really recommend anyone to follow the Startup Grind YouTube channel.
okay,
We have two channels. One is the global channel for very inspirational talks on main stage in the global conference. And we have the local channel for inspirational talks from different cities around the world. So if it's interesting for you, and I have tons of story of one from LA, listen to Tel Aviv talks and learn how to build a company. But another new thing is the podcast that Derek, the founder, every week hosts inspirational, founders. And I think if you will follow the Startup Grind and understand what we are building, it will give you more ideas to how the Startup Grind education can scale faster than just one city by one city in small country and become a movement. And this is what I try to do, is to connect at least the first families, organizations, or business people or impact investors that are willing to see an impact in the education system and the young generation.
yeah, it's totally about starting a movement. That's really what we want to do. We want to see this spread out and really to the point of changing education. Really, that's what this is about. Thank you so much for this, for today's conversation. And thank you, our wonderful audience, for tuning in. Let us know what you think about these ideas. Do
Thank
you
you
love
for the
it?
opportunity to share. I think it's an important mission also to share this vision for the kids.
It's very important. I see it a big part of change of in education. I really do. And also, our wonderful audience, let us know again what you think about these ideas. Do you agree? Do you don't? Just let us know what you think. Connect with my wonderful guest
I will
today.
share more.
Yeah, exactly. And follow the show, Get Inspired with Dr. Barb. And I will see you all on social media. And I think you all agree with me that today's episode was really fascinating. And I was just so impressed with all the work that's being done and will be done and how this is going to expand. I would like to see it expanding to other countries for sure. Bye bye, everyone. See you on social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is Get Inspired with Dr. Barb.